Hello, it is 9 p.m. in Djibouti. It's time to English New Edition. And for tonight headlines, we have the head of state returns to Djibouti after his official visit to Tunisia. Concerning international scene, UN presses against Kinshasa to ensure proper December 2000 elections. Welcome to our newsrooms. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, returned today early Thursday evening in the countries after his official visit of 28 hours in the Republic of Tunisia. The summit meeting he held with his Tunisian counterpart, Beji Caid SFC, and the adoption of the series of cooperation agreement on which this meeting resulted were the highlight of President Guelleh's visit to Tunis. The agreement reached between Djibouti and Tunisia related to the establishment of an active cooperation in the field of maritime transport, ports, tourism, craft, posts, and new technology and culture. It should also then be noted that this agreement, including a memorandum of understanding on the mutual exemption of entry visa for persons holding diplomatic and service passports. The other flagships component of the President of the Republic official visit to Tunisia was the economic forum between the two countries, which the Djibouti head of state co-directed with Tunisian Prime Minister Youssef Chahid. This event was a great place to exchange information on investment opportunities in both countries, especially for the businesses communities of Djibouti and Tunisia widely represent at this economic forum. The private economic operators of Djibouti who took part in this businesses forum under the aegis of the President Guelleh and the Tunisian Prime Ministers consist of the President of the International Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti, Yusuf Moussa Dawale, and about 20 businesses from our country, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Higher Education and Research, Dr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed, and the Minister of Delegate to the Minister of Economy and Finance in charge of Trade, Tourism and Formalization, Mr. Hassan Mohamed Arbahim, has accompanied the President of the Republic as part of his official visit to Tunisia. As part of his 2 days official visit to Tunis, the head of state chaired this morning at the headquarters of the Tunisian Union of Industry and Trade Handicraft at Tunisia-Djibouti Economic Forum between the businesses communities of the two countries, whose theme is for a strategic partnership to access the COMESA market. This meeting is under the patronage of the Tunisian Prime Minister Yaqoub Al-Shahid. The forum is jointly organized by UTK and the Tunisian African Businesses Council with the participation of the Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti. It aims to consolidate the two economic relations between the two countries and to boost a partnership project between Tunisians and Djiboutian businessmen. An important multi-sectoral delegations and Djiboutian businessmen led by the President of the Djibouti Chamber of Commerce, Yusuf Moussa Dawale, as well as the National Director of Investment Promotion Agency, Mr. Drar Olsiye, and the Director of the Djibouti Office of Industrial and Commercial Property, Ms. Ouloufa Ismail Abdo, participated in this important event. Upon his arrival, the President of the Republic was received by the Tunisian Prime Minister, the President of the UTK, and the President of the TAPC, Tunisian ministers and businessmen. Listen now to the speech of the head of state. Djibouti is on the landscape of the second most frequent shipping route in the world and is perfect for all your processing and distribution need. In this respect, we strive to create a business-friendly environment that will allow businesses to thrive. We also have to make significant effort to make our administration more efficient in order to improve the quality and efficiency of the delivery of public services. Therefore, in addition to the many benefits already available to investors such as a liberal economy and a convertible currency has a US dollar and a financial system allowing unrestricted currency transfers, we have put in place reforms regarding the bankruptcy and protection of small investors based in Djibouti, the then reforming country in the latest Doing Business report, and this demonstrates our determination to create an environment conducive to the promotion of a prosperous and vibrant private environment sector, including both small and large enterprises, in order to make Djibouti a country with an intermediate income in the next decade. Our development strategy also places great emphasis on the mastery and use on the broadest of the new information and communication technologies, a sector where the experiences and know-how of Tunisia can enable these companies, an important partners of our country. I am persuaded that Tunisian businessmen will seize the opportunities available to them in all of these areas, taking into account the importance of Djibouti and its privileged situation that destines a major role in the economic and commercial current of East Africa, and it is great march of the COMESA. We look forward to welcoming you to Djibouti as investors and partners. We encourage you to join us in the quest for a future radiant of prosperity for our two people, and thank you again for the happy initiative you have brought together entrepreneurs and businessmen of our two countries. I will tell you again how much I believe in the future of our relation. We are ready to provide you with the necessary support. I can close my remarks without tribute support of the Tunisian Union of Industry and Trade. Thank you for your attention.
Vive l'amitié djibouto-tunisienne, vive le peuple tunisien. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
President Gelle also met successfully the Tunisian Prime Ministers and the President of the Assembly. The President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, met last night with Tunisian Prime Minister Mr. Youssef Al-Shahid. The interview took place at the Kasbah Government Palace. The meeting focused on ways to strengthen fraternal ties and strengthen historical relations between the two sister countries. The two countries being decided to give a new impetus to their bilateral cooperation to support the investment and to develop partnership projects in the economic field. The two sides discussed the need to intensify the link and contact between Tunisian businessmen and their counterpart operating in Djibouti, and within the framework of the Tunisia African Affairs Council. Meetings are planned in the context of the Economic Forum organized by the Tunisia African Business Council and the Tunisian Federation of Industry, Trade and Handicraft. The cooperation programs and partnership projects between Tunisia and Djibouti encompass various economic domains, including transport, tourism, engineering, communication, technologies, construction, as well as key sectors such as education, vocational training, or higher education. the same context, the President of the Republic met the President of the Congress and the Tunisian people, Mr. Mohamed Al Nasser. The meeting was held yesterday at Bardo Palace. The President of the Assembly of Tunisia and the President of the Republic of Djibouti, Ismail Omar Guelleh, have discussed the importance of strengthening relations between parliamentarian and coordinating position between the Tunisian Assembly and National Assembly. The two leaders also discussed other issues on common interest concerning the Arab world, the region, and the hot topics of international news. During this meeting with the President of Djibouti and the delegation that accompanied him, the speaker stressed the importance of strengthening bilateral cooperation, particularly in the area of education, vocational training, health. For his part, the President of the Republic of Djibouti praised the success of Tunisia in its democratic transition and welcomed the ongoing bilateral cooperation. The President did not fail to recall the support of Tunisia to the Republic of Djibouti after independence and its support for the teaching of the Arabic language. The Vice President of the People's Assembly and member of the Council Office attended the meeting. In a brief interview, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, indicated that the visit of the President of Djibouti, Sam Ismail, during 28 hours intervened on the invitations of his appointed President of the Tunisian Republic, PJK SFC. This visit is for two heads of state exchange on common information, questions concerning the question of security general policy, but also in the Arab world and the African continent. Tunisia and Djibouti have since a decade a traditional cooperation relationship, and this cooperation is achieved through a joint committee. The last was in 2010. The next sessions of this joint committee will be organized in 2019.
Une longue période, compte tenu aussi de la situation.
The Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Younis Ali Ghedi, received this morning in his office a delegation from the World Bank that finances the pilot project of geothermal energy. The objective of this meeting was to reduce the costs of the energy bill in the countries by putting the new energy, including the natural gases. The delegations of the World Bank spoke about the different cooperation between the Djiboutian Office of Geothermal Energy and the World Bank. They also clarified their requirement for the granting of loan that can finance the progress of the geothermal project. Energy Minister Younis Ali Ghedi thanked the World Bank for the constant assistance it is doing to carry out certain projects within our country. In addition, the interview was attended by the General Directors of the Djiboutian Office of Geothermal Energy and the Deputy Directors of the Electricity of Djibouti, Mr. Abu Bakr. And a closing ceremony of a training course for Coast Guard took place yesterday at the at the barracks of the institutions in the presence of the Minister of Equipment and Transport, the commanders of the Coast Guard, and the General Army of General Staff General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim. This training, which constitute the initial trainings of the young recruits, was intended to teach them the basic military knowledge in the technical and tactical file. This is a total of 115 recruits who have finalized their initial training. These young recruits also benefit for 2 months for a specific trainings that allow them to become familiar with the various trades in the maritime file, in the file of navigation, shipbuilding, the fight against marine pollution, and the fight against fire. They also took courses on maritime regulations to familiarize themselves with the crime and offenses occur at sea and legal means at their disposal to deal with them. All of these courses have one ultimate goal: to give these young people the maximum of intellectual tools on physical strength to respond adequately to the tasks entrusted to them in the various departments of our institution. Since the establishment of the Coast Guard Naval Training Center in the Dorale, the institution has gradually achieved autonomy in the trainings provided to its agents, said the commanders. For his part, the Minister of Equipment and Transport, Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Halim, said he was pleased to sponsor these closures of the training for the Coast Guard's officers. The ceremony closed with the presentations of the strip and certificate to the beneficiaries of these courses. Then the new recruits performed the demonstration. The Minister of Housing and Urban Planning of Environment held this morning at the People's Palace a ceremony of presentations of certificate to the participants in the workshop of upgrade, extensions and knowledge sharing of the Actor National Sustainable Development. The closing ceremony of this workshop and the awarding of the certificate were held under the patronage of His Excellency Mr. Musa Muhammad Ahmed, Minister of Housing, Towns, Planning and Environment, with the support of the organization of regional councils of conservation and the environment of Red Sea and Aden Gulf Persga, which was represented by Dr. Mohammed Sati. The workshop brought together more than 48 participants from different national institutions. In these files, it is
in the Palais du Peuple for a workshop on sustainable development, and we for the last three days we are discussing the objective of the indicator for the sustainable development and how we help the government department to use this objective and indicator in their reports.
For his part, the Minister of Housing and Environmental has emphasized to the importance of this workshop organized by the PERSCA, and he thanked them to the constant efforts and promises that these types of workshop will continue in the future. As part of the partnership between the government and the United Nations system, the first meeting of steering committee of the United Nations Development Assistance Framework (UNDAF) was held today, Thursday, 4 October 2018, of the Republic of Djibouti 2018-2022, under the co-chairmanship of the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs International Cooperation, Mr. Mohammed Ali Hassan, and Ms. Barbara Manzi, coordinators of the United Nations system. This meeting brought together all UN agencies as well as representatives of sector ministries and national institutions. The first working session was an opportunity to present the report of activity of the UN agency of 2018 after a brief reminders of the report of the year 2017. During this meeting, the representative of the UN system agencies present the progress of their activities for 2018 as well as the available and mobilized funding of the recommendation made for the achievement of the target objective, the UNDAF. In addition, Ms. Barbara Monsi, coordinators of the United Nations system, also informed the participants at this meeting on the United Nations system reforms which will be implemented as of January 1st, 2019 for greater coherence, synergy and receivability of the interventions. It should be noted that the meeting ended with fruitful exchange and discussions for a better implementation of the joint program between the government and the United Nations system. In some non-developed area of Street 6 housing have a serious sanitation problem. These are old houses, some of which are inhabited and others inhabit along the road from 26th Street and to Nasser Street. Pockets of stagnant water have appeared in these houses below the road and have been upgraded. Only after verification is finally found that this water came from abandoned hookup and also caused the leaks of the networks of conduct of ONIAD. These water leaks, according to ONIAD, have constituted pockets of water in this house located in a kind of bowl. ONIAD services have already begun pumping stagnant water to detect clandestine behavior. One of the technicians from the ONIAD services took us in an interview with the water is due to leaks caused by illegal connections. ONIAD is in the process of providing solutions to these problems and asks residents to comply with the regulations of connection and to subscribe to ONIAD. There is a need to search Saeed Abdullahi Awale, who has not returned since he's released from his home 2 weeks ago, located in the municipality of Balbala. She is 1.16 meters tall and skinny. All persons finding information regarding Saeed Abdullahi Awale, please contact these numbers 77868176 or 3539-366 or taking him to the nearest police stations. Concerning the international scene, recognizing that there is some kind of negligence in the fight against alleged perpetrators of killing Beni City in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, NGOs including Human Rights Watch invite the International Criminal Court to intervene. 4 years of hell. These remarks by certain observers certainly seems alarmist. Is nevertheless the impressions that gives Beni, which recorded during the last 4 years a series of massacres, and the addition seems already very salty. According to Human Rights Watch, this city is North Kivu in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has already lost more than thousands of its inhabitants, almost the equivalent of these populations of Messines, 1,040 inhabitants in Belgium. Dutch intelligence on Thursday threw out 4 Russians after finding a severe attack in April that targeted the organizations for the prohibition of the chemical weapons. The 4 agents had stationed with themselves in the parkings of a hotel near the organization's headquarters in The Hague in a vehicle equipped with electronic equipment to hack into the computer system. A laptop has been found. It belonged to one of the agents is connected to Brazil, Switzerland and Malaysia. It contains particular sensitive documents in connection with the investigation of the craft of flight MH17, the planes of Malaysian Airlines shot down by missiles in 2014 in eastern Ukraine. This is it for tonight's news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.